Hey guys, so today I have a fun story time for you. You're gonna enjoy this one. This is a story time about my honeymoon and all the things that went wrong on it. I think you guys are gonna enjoy this. It's comical when I look back, and for so long, I'm such a positive person, you guys. As you know, I'm someone who refuses to not see the good in things. And even with my honeymoon, I never told anyone, I never said that it was bad. I never talked about it being bad at all. I mean, I always focus on the positive when I told people things, but I was thinking about it the other day and I just realized, wow, like that was so many bad things happened on that honeymoon and went wrong. When I consider it, I'm pretty amazed with myself how I just brush those things off and would never even describe it as being like a train wreck experience at all. I would just focus on the positive things. Wow, you guys, I am amazing. Anyways, I'm gonna tell you the story of my honeymoon and what happened on it. I would love to know about your honeymoon down below in the comments and how it went. I feel like there's so much expectation for your honeymoon, right? Like it's gonna be the most amazing thing. Obviously you think about sex and, you know, all that stuff, but we're gonna get into all the details. So maybe not all of them, but we're gonna get into some details about my honeymoon. If you want more story times like this, give this video a thumbs up and I can make some more for you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you just want to stick around for more videos. I love sharing stuff with you guys. So for the background, we got to build this up for a little bit. I have been married for almost 6 years, so this honeymoon did not ruin our marriage by any means. And we had a beautiful wedding. The wedding was small, low budget, perfect in every way. It was so fun. Like everyone said they had the best time at our wedding. It was so fun. There was so much joy, so much dancing. It wasn't about things being perfect by any means at all. It was just wonderful. But let me know if you want a story time on this, but my husband and I did not kiss till our wedding day, which I don't know if I've ever said that before. I had kissed someone before, a few people before my husband. But if you want me to talk about that in our story with all of that, I would be happy to for you guys. I mean, that kind of matters, I guess, because you think, wow, that's gonna set you guys up for a bad honeymoon. You didn't kiss till your wedding day. But just wait. Okay, so after our wedding, we went to this bed and breakfast for our wedding night, and the night after, for 2 nights, we stayed at this bed and breakfast. And that was the wedding night. You know, we could literally just kiss for the first time, but I have to say God honors your sacrifice in that. We had an amazing wedding night. Like it couldn't have been better in every single way. And I was nervous about all that, you know, having not kissed my husband, and it was amazing. So just to say, if you're waiting for wedding night or anything like that, just don't be worried about it. It's gonna be amazing. Well, I pray it will be amazing. I don't know for sure it will be, but it can be at least, okay? So anyways, that went really, really good. No hitches there, nothing to speak of. So we had 2 nights there. We just recuperated from the wedding, because if you plan a wedding, you are exhausted. It's so much, like, it's just exhausting. And then 2 days later, my mom, early in the morning, drove us down to LA to get on a flight to go to Mexico. We are going to Mexico for our honeymoon, okay? So we found this really great deal for this place in Mexico, and it was Playa de Mujeres? Isla de I don't speak Spanish. It was Isla de Mujeres? That's not good. Island of the ladies? Women? Right? Is that what it means? Okay, so it was this place outside of Cancun called Isla de Mujeres. And this was in May that we got married. It was Memorial Day weekend. The airport, all that was fine. Traveling was fine. Luckily, there's no horror story of traveling, because that can very well happen. We had our passports. Everything was good. We made it there. That was all fine. It all started off pretty good, right? The resort itself was gorgeous. It was so beautiful. I'll try and put pictures of it in here. But all the food and alcohol was included. We're not big drinkers at all. In fact, I haven't drank in years. I mostly just lost my taste for it, and now I'm like fighting a lot of illnesses, health stuff. So, I mean, I literally haven't tasted alcohol in years. But at that point, we were enjoying alcohol. I mean, not a lot, but maybe a drink or two. There were some great restaurants there, and the food was all included, and it's so nice when you don't have to think about spending money on food. I know, at least for me, just to know it's included, you can just order whatever you want on the menu. I mean, there's just such a freedom and fun thing to that. I'd never been to a place like that before. This was my first time in Mexico. I believe it was my husband's as well. So they greeted us there. I think they had like a glass of champagne. It was just so beautiful. The weather though was starting to get a little funny, and we heard that a tropical storm was coming, and I think we were there for 7 days. We were like, we want to get a good break, like we're going there, we're gonna really enjoy this. Was it 7 days? 6 or 7 days or something. So it was a good amount of time, and we were so excited. Neither of us, we didn't grow up like vacationing extravagantly or anything like that. I grew up with a single mom. This was my second time going outside of the country on any sort of real vacation as an adult, besides like other places in California. And by that night, there was this place called the Lupita Lounge, I remember, and it was a sushi restaurant. We love sushi, so we went there. Hey, look, it is freaking amazing.
We're never coming back home.
Look how beautiful it is. It's amazing. And that's when the tropical storm started coming in. It was raining, and we're like, okay, this kind of stinks. Like, the lounge was kind of like outside, and we got sushi, and it was really nice. But the rain, it just, yeah. This whole resort is really meant to be enjoyed outside. Of course, the room was nice and stuff too. It was really nice and modern, but like, anyway, so it started to rain. We got our food. This was 6 years ago. I don't remember the detail of every single day, so I'm just gonna tell you the gist of what happened on our honeymoon. But I think it was probably by the second or third day, I started getting the most incredible cramping pain down here, and I'm pretty sure it was like a UTI or maybe even a kidney infection or something, because I have had UTIs before. It didn't hurt when I had to pee. It was literally the most intense pain, and I don't know if I can, no, that's not appropriate. We found these videos from our honeymoon. It wasn't like graphic at all, no, but it was like just in the hotel room talking and stuff. But my husband, we just stumbled across this the other day. He was talking to the camera. I was bent over on the bed in so much pain, and he was just like talking to the camera, and I was in agony. And I just remember I was in so much pain, I was moaning. It was like in the realm of childbirth pain, and I had 2 natural childbirths. It was so much pain, and I did not know what was going on. I thought it was food poisoning. I wasn't throwing up or anything like that, but I know that when you have sex, like especially if you haven't had sex in a long time, or if you have sex more frequently, which is your honeymoon, it's very common to get not kidney infections, but like UTIs, yeast infections, that sort of stuff, especially if you don't like pee after having sexual relation. That went on, and that was not fun at all. I do have to say, you think the honeymoon, I'm sorry to disappoint, but the intimate aspect was actually good. There was nothing that wasn't good about that, or notable, or something that was stressful or not good for either of us. So that whole stuff went really well, which I just think is such an amazing thing, and such kind of a reward for holding off on doing anything until we were married. I know everyone has their own beliefs and whatnot. I don't know who you are, but I do have to say, lots of people have that misconception that if you haven't, I mean, I know that's not the case for everyone. I know there's plenty of people who had, you know, you have to learn each other and that stuff. You have a whole marriage for that. But all of that stuff went totally great and fine and wonderful. So, but obviously when you're in so much pain, like, you're not going to be wanting to be super intimate. Because of that, there are all these restaurants. I thought it was the food, because I know when you go different places, it's very common to contract something. You're not used to the water. I mean, we're only drinking bottled water, but I know sometimes fruit, if it's not washed or stuff like that. I mean, I was in Ecuador kind of shortly before we got married, so I was familiar with that sort of stuff. So I started cutting down on the things I could eat, which was so sad. Like, when you're enjoying all this food elsewhere, like, I think I didn't eat fruit, and I was just nervous to eat anything. That was pretty much it. And we're at this beautiful restaurant with all this food, or beautiful resort, and I was just nervous to eat anything. I didn't want to drink. I mean, I was just feeling terrible. But see, this is what happens God is good and he takes care of us, even in these hard times. My husband has a cousin who was studying medicine, like on his way to becoming a doctor. I don't know if he was in his residency, I can't remember at that point. But he is also Guatemalan and he knows Spanish. And I don't know, things are just different in Mexico. Like, things just work differently. But he called in, somehow he called the resort. I do not know how this happened. But like, he got a prescription ordered and delivered to the hotel for me. Whatever prescriptions, I don't know exactly what it was, but it definitely, it helped. There were 2 different pills and it did help. But I think that was a few days. And while that happened, I remember we rented movies. You could rent movies from the place and we like watched movies. So that's just part of it. The other part of this is the tropical storm. We both love being outside. We both love warm weather and we both grew up in California. I'm not saying I don't like the rain, but when you're at a resort on your honeymoon and want to be outside by the pool, you go to Mexico to be in the sun, to lay out by the pool, to lay out on the beach. And we could not do any of that. Like, it was so cold. We would go outside and it would be dumping rain. And no one was anywhere in the resort. It was pretty much deserted and we went in the pool and we did swim some in the pool, but it was raining and it was like if you got out at all it was like really, really cold. So we'd kind of go in the hot tub in the pool.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah.
What are we doing, Alex? Samantha's on, but the bottom one, the last one's on turn off. Are you videoing?
Yeah. Okay.
Where are we?
In the hot tub? Under an umbrella?
Under an umbrella. But it was cold and it was really hard to enjoy. And the same thing with the beach. Like, there was very few times in that 7 days where it stopped raining at all. So we were barely able to go on the beach. We literally went on the beach for just a little bit for one day.
Very windy, huh?
It's so windy. And I'm still recovering from whatever infection or whatever thing I had going on. And it was just really sad. Like, I'm someone who loves swimming. I love the water. I grew up swimming in the ocean. Like, that was how I spent my childhood, is on the beach. And we literally like dipped in the ocean once. It just makes me, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me so sad that it was just too cold and raining. We just couldn't do it. So here I am. We're stuck in the hotel room. I'm in like incredible pain and then it's pouring rain outside. You know, we would dress up nice to go out to dinner and we'd be like wet by the time we made it to the restaurant. And you know, when you're not feeling well, looking nice isn't even on your priority list because you're just kind of in survival mode. So that happened and we pretty much spent, I mean, I get it, like you're on your honeymoon, you spend a lot of time in the hotel room, but it wasn't like really how we wanted to spend our time. And on top of that, feeling nervous about everything I ate, not sure if that was contributing to what was going on. For one day, we did kind of go to like the market in, I don't know if it was actually in Cancun, where you can buy like souvenir stuff, and we walked around there and that was fine. We also did, I mean, have some arguments, or just like, not arguments, but like triggering things, you know what I mean? Where those like deep heart stuff gets triggered. And I do remember that our first years of marriage were kind of tricky. I mean, we had so much growth to do. We still do, but we have such a better footing now. It's like night and day where we were in our first few years of marriage. So we didn't know how to handle that heart stuff. I mean, we didn't know how to handle those issues that came up, and just how we triggered the insecurities in one another, or things like that, you know what I mean? Just like those deep things. That was a tricky part as well. There was some tension from that. That didn't like take over the whole entire honeymoon though. One thing that I love, like it's literally my love language, and that is massages. And my husband gives great massages. But since we're on our honeymoon, I never spend money to get a massage because number one, they tend to be quite expensive. And number two, my husband gives really good massages. So I just feel like you're gonna spend this money, it's gonna be gone in an hour, when my husband could give me that massage, you know? But it was our honeymoon and it was this beautiful resort and we weren't able to do so many things, so he wanted to get me a massage. So I obliged, you know. They like listed on the menu to be this nice thing, and it was, I mean, I'm not really complaining about this. This wasn't the worst of it because I'm just not someone who likes to complain. But it was not a good massage. Like, it was just like, it didn't even feel like anything to me. I mean, you might have as well had like a cat crawl on my back or something. I'm someone who likes like a real massage. It was just like, you know, pitter patter, like, it wasn't nice. It wasn't good. I didn't like it. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, but I was like, oh, that was, you know, nice and relaxing, but it was such a waste of money. I think it was over $100, and that's like, in the 6 years, have I had a massage? No, I have not had a massage since. But I do have to say, in that there was like a kind of spa thing that my husband joined in after, and that was cool. There was like a steam room and like different cold water and different pools and stuff, and it was like this experience. It was fine. Like, it was okay. It was cool. But, you know, like, you spend $100, you kind of want a nice massage where you feel really good and relaxed after, and I wasn't feeling that way at all. Okay, the last thing that is notable that happened, it was the day before our last day, and we looked at the different things you could do, and it was still raining, you guys, and we decided there was this like boat ride thing you can do. I don't quite remember what it was, but like you go catch this ferry and like they do this little boat ride thing. So we got all the information, we got in a taxi. My husband is half Guatemalan. We speak Spanish about the same, like, not very well at all. Like, he does not know how to speak Spanish very well, but we were okay, you know, it was okay. So we got a taxi to drop us off at this little dock thing, and it was weird. There was like no one around. It wasn't like this big touristy thing. There was literally no one there, and it was raining. And we were waiting there in the rain. I'm not sure how long we waited. I think like 30 minutes, and then we kind of realized maybe they're not going because it's raining. We found this man who was just like kind of wandering around the area. Not wandering, that sounds really creepy, but like just kind of doing stuff around the area, and we asked him, and he wasn't really sure, but he kind of confirmed that it was probably canceled because of the rain. So we couldn't even go on this little boat ride because of the rain. So we had to get a taxi back to the hotel, and that never happened. So I think that's pretty much all that happened. We traveled back home. We were kind of disappointed. We still talk about to this day how we kind of would love to have another honeymoon sometime, and yeah, be able to make up for just the experiences we didn't have on our honeymoon. Just being able to live by the pool, to not be in pain, to rest, to enjoy each other. But you know, that's life. I feel like there's always things, especially on things where there's high expectations. I mean, again, I'm someone who does not hold high expectations for the most part. I'm human, but I mean, I'm someone who always sees the good in things. But, you know, just a little bit more. Give me a little bit more to work with, a little bit more of those expectations being met, like being able to lay outside in the sun and stuff like that. So be cautious. Look to see if it's hurricane season when you go to one of these resorts, because this could happen to you. It was May. I'm not sure if that is hurricane season. You can let me know, but just be warned. All your kind of expectations of a fun tropical destination honeymoon or trip might be dashed if you get caught in the rain. So again, we've made it 6 years. It didn't ruin our marriage. We were happy to get home and move into our new place together, and still makes me sad. We'd still love to go on a trip, but yeah, I think we'd enjoy it so much more at this point going. I mean, we're at such a different place in our marriage. Having kids too, I mean, after having children and like committing your life to them, how amazing would it be to get away for a little bit and just rest and enjoy each other again, and just, yeah. Anyways, if you want me to elaborate on anything that I've touched on in the story, whether it be holding off to have our first kiss till our wedding day or anything like that, let me know down in the comments, and let me know where you went on your honeymoon and how it was. Like, how would you rate your honeymoon? Whatever you want to share, I'm sure we'd all love to read it down below in the comments. And yeah, I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day or evening or night whenever you're watching this. You are so loved, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.